folks. Hope you're all safe home. So, this lockdown phase is indeed stressful, but let's keep hoping for blissful days ahead. So, let's also make this lockdown productive by updating on our knowledge on research. So, today I've come up with another topic, how to structure a thesis statement, which most of the scholars usually mess up with. So, a thesis statement gives a significant identity to your thesis. And so, it is very much important to structure a proper, perfect thesis statement. So, what is a thesis statement? What do you mean by that? See, it is nothing complex or complicated. It is a very clearly well developed declarative sentence, no matter how many clauses it contains, right? So, it is a single well developed declarative sentence comprising of your main idea and the opinion that you have intended upon. So, this main idea or controlling idea is supported by two or more supporting ideas. So, look at this picture. The topmost part resembles the main idea, right? And look at these four structures supporting the main idea. So, this is how an exact thesis statement should be like. It comprises of one main idea or controlling idea, and it should be supported by two or more supporting ideas. That's very important. So, what is the purpose of a thesis statement? So, a thesis statement has a purpose to see. Anything we do have a purpose, right? So, whatever we do, we'll be having a purpose towards it. And this thesis statement also has a purpose. What is that? It makes a promise to the reader about the scope of your thesis, the purpose of your thesis, and the direction of the thesis. What are the subject matters that you are going to analyze? So it presents your argument to the reader. It also summarizes the conclusions that the writer has reached about the topic. So, a thesis statement is generally located near the end of the introduction. So, a perfect thesis statement. So, we should ensure that our thesis statement should be perfect. So, a perfect thesis statement, it promptly guides the reader to interpret the significance of the subject matter under discussion. So, whatever subject matter that you have chosen, for example, it may be based on post-colonial studies, it might be based on gender studies, or it might be based on Dalit literature, or maybe your subject matter might be based on digital humanities. So, whatever subject matter you have taken up, that will be put up in the thesis statement so that the reader will be able to interpret the significance of your subject matter. So, such a statement is also called as an argument or main idea or a controlling idea. So, the thesis statement, it actually keeps the writer balanced on the purpose. That's very much important. So, the principal aim of the writer should be that the purpose of the thesis shouldn't be lost. That should be kept well balanced. And this actually lessens the threat of intellectual wandering. I mean, it prevents the reader from deviating from the subject matter. So, it should also be convincing and logical, right? So, a perfect thesis statement should be very much convincing, it should be logical, and it should be highly persuasive. So, a thesis statement keeps you on track. So, this is very, very important. Look at this. The advantage of a clear thesis statement is that it will also help you to stay on track. I mean, there will not be any kind of deviation if your thesis statement is planned properly. at any time during your writing process. You should be able to make a direct connection between what you are writing and your thesis statement. I mean, you should be able to correlate between your thesis statement and your writing stuff. So if that connection is not getting clear, if you couldn't connect anything between what you're writing and your thesis statement, then it means that you are on a wrong direction. So if that connection isn't clear, you may need either to adjust your writing or revise your thesis statement. So the choice is here. So if the connection is not proper, either you should correct your way of writing. You should bring out the topics that you have mentioned in your thesis statement, or else you will, if you can't change what you're writing, if you are held up with what you're writing, then immediately go up for revising your thesis statement. So thesis statements can be changed during the evolution of a paper. So it there will be frequent changes. So in the course of writing your thesis, there will be lots of alterations or changes. So accordingly, your thesis statement will also be undergoing lots of changes, right? So thesis statements can be changed during the evolution of a paper. However, make sure you re-examine your outline before you divert too far from your original plan. So you must ensure that you should re-examine your outline now and then, because you shouldn't deviate far away from your original plan that you have focused on your thesis statement. That is highly important. So how to write a thesis statement? So it is quite simple, but the only thing is you should be organized, right? State your topic. So your topic is the vital idea of your paper, and state your main idea about the topic, a kind of an insightful opinion. It shouldn't be vague at all. It shouldn't be ambiguous. So it should be an insightful opinion with clarity, and provide a reason that supports your main idea. So I have told you already, your main idea must have supporting reasons. So that is very, very essential. So for example, if you are focusing on post-colonial studies, the areas or the reasons behind the main topic will be like colonial history, or the resulting cultural hybridity can be focused upon, and as a result of it, transnationalism, cultural globalization happens. So all these reasons can be attributed to the main idea of post-colonialism. So likewise, you have to provide a reason that supports your main idea, and then you'll understand, okay, this single reason isn't enough. So what will you do? You have to provide another reason that supports your main idea. Okay, fine, now you have got two reasons to support your main idea. Okay, sometimes you may be feeling okay with it, you'll be satisfied, but in case if you can't suppress your statement with just two reasons, you'll have to provide one more reason that supports your main idea. So now what you have to do is you have to combine your main idea, for example post-colonial studies, and you have to bring up all those supporting ideas. What are the supporting ideas? The colonial history should be mentioned, cultural hybridity should be mentioned, transnationalism should be mentioned, cultural globalization should be mentioned. So altogether you make a very perfect combination to form a perfect thesis statement. So in writing a thesis statement, it's all about combining your main ideas and the supporting ideas and making it more meaningful. So what are the don'ts? So you shouldn't be ambiguous or mysterious. So your thesis statement must be known for its clarity, right? So it shouldn't be vague or mysterious. So vague language talks about something without directly saying what it is, right? So you shouldn't be confused about what you have planned to focus on. So that there must be a proper focus, and vague language talk shouldn't be seen anywhere in a thesis statement. So you should directly mention your main ideas and the supporting ideas. So some students believe that their thesis statement should be vague, so it doesn't give the argument anyway. So a perfect thesis statement must kindle more arguments, right? So some students, they believe that if their thesis statement is vague or mysterious, no one would raise a question. So it shouldn't be done at all. This should be completely avoided. So please make sure that your thesis statement is clear and it shouldn't be vague. So here, these are certain tips to write a thesis statement. You should be very specific. You should write a thesis statement early, not after completing your thesis. Many of the scholars do that. So only after completing their conclusion, they come up to the research supervisors, madam, I have to write a thesis statement. How can I do that? So that should be avoided. It should be done in the beginning, earlier stages. So you have to read thoroughly. Otherwise, you won't be helped with supporting ideas that you have to bring out in the thesis statement. So never write generalized thesis statements. So generalized statements can sometimes be true and sometimes it may be false. So don't depend on generalized thesis statements. Make sure about that. So how should a successful thesis statement should be like? So it should provide readers with the main claim of your paper or thesis. So your main claim should be highlighted there. So it should tell the readers what your paper will be about. So that's very important, and makes a claim that others may either agree or disagree with. So your paper or thesis must raise certain claims that others may sometimes agree or disagree with. Somehow you must know how to defend your claim. That's very important. So it is a statement rather than a question. So as I told you, it is a statement, and it should be written in your own words, and it shouldn't be a quote from someone else source. So this is highly to be noted, and it generally appears at the end of your introduction. So it can't be written elsewhere. It should come up in the introduction part. Okay, so thank you so much for listening patiently. Please follow these tactics while writing a thesis statement. It essentially forms the backbone of your research paper or thesis. So concentrate on that. Thank you so much for watching this patiently. If you haven't subscribed it, do subscribe, and kindly press the bell icon for getting further updates of notifications. Do follow us on Facebook page as well. The link is given below. Thank you so much.